Well, certainly the framing has changed a lot in the last month. I think we're still waiting to see, let the dust settle. I don't think everything that has been announced is necessarily going to be what ends up being the law of the land, so to speak. No. And then there's literally the law of the land, which nothing has changed. We have the same laws and regulations that we've always had. So I think we have to wait and see a little bit. I think there's a lot that any administration does in terms of public relations and messaging and things like that. And what really matters is how the actual rules and incentives and behavior ultimately changes. And certainly some of it will change, but we still have to see. Certainly the winds are blowing in a different direction with this administration. And some of this we saw in 2017 in the beginning of the first Trump administration. So things like stepping back from the Paris Agreement, changing directions on the emphasis of the administration, all the agencies that have flexibility within current law. That's shifting back towards traditional fossil energy and away from clean energy and mitigating climate change. So a lot of that is very similar. Of course, what's different is the world is different in 2025 than it was in 2017. Countries are actually doing a lot. I mean, they ramped up, in response, I think, to the first Trump administration, a lot of the response in the United States as well as internationally was almost to double down. And despite the United States, despite the federal government, to continue to try to pursue ambitious climate policies. And that's continued from 2027 through 2024. So I think what you're seeing now is countries, I think, are going to have to decide how to interact with the United States differently. I mean, the tariffs being like a big piece of the new, a different thing that's in 2025 than it was in 2017. But my gut feeling is that the energy transition is something that is here to stay. It's being driven by the fundamentals of climate change impacts, which are only growing over time, like the fires in LA and the hurricanes in Florida that went all the way up to North Carolina this year. Not to mention events in other parts of the world. I'm more familiar with the United States. So with these drivers in place, the transition itself isn't a question. I think how long it takes and the direction and pathway and technologies that get used may be affected. But I don't see the world fundamentally changing direction. But will it slow potentially or change a little bit? Yeah, I think so.